Hello and welcome to another Blender Know-How tutorial. Today we're going to learn how to create a tree similar to this. I know it doesn't really look realistic on the texturing side, but that's not the point we were going for. It's really just trying to show you how to create the basic tree shape. And then you can run with it from there. So go ahead and open up Blender and get past the splash screen. First thing, I'm going to delete the cube. And I'm going to snap that cursor back to the center. I'm going to hit File, and I'm going to go to User Preferences. I'm going to go to Add-ons. We're going to use the sapling generator, which is really nice for creating the trees. Makes it really nice, easy. So now that we have that, I exited out of the User Preferences. I'm going to hit Shift A, add curve, and then add tree. And this is just a quick tutorial. I'm just going to show you how to create the fastest tree possible. Right down here you can load a preset, and I'll click Black Tube Halo. It's going to be a nice normal cone shaped tree, or you can do an oak or quaking aspen, but I'm just going to go back to that. Or there's even a willow tree too. So first I'm going to hit bevel, and then you can increase the resolution here, but I find that actually it works okay with 0. The only difference is if you look down here, if you look at them, they're more round instead of square. If you look at the base of the tree, it's square. But if you increase this, it becomes more round. So that's the big difference. But not anything real needed, and unless you have a really good computer. But you can increase that as much as you want. But I would do that later, after you've done everything else. In fact, sometimes it even helps just to create the tree like this, and then add that stuff later, which is probably what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go to Geometry, and then go to Branch Splitting, and then I'm going to hit down here. These are different levels, so 0, that's going to be the first main branch. If you put that to 1, it won't change anything, but if you change it, yeah, I don't know why that didn't work, but I think that just means that the first, that's the trunk. But if you increase this level, it's going to go a lot slower, so just remember that. But you're going to get branches on those branches that you had. So you have the main trunk with the branches coming off. Third level means you're going to have branches. And if you can keep increasing this, it'll make it look better, but remember, it's going to go a lot slower. But if you increase it to 4, you get branches on those branches, and so on. See, yeah, it's way slow. In fact, that might have, oh yeah. But you get lots of little branches. You can even increase it, I think, again, but there's no need really. So, it's starting to look like a real tree because it's not just branches off of the trunk. But make sure your computer can handle it. It's going to go really slow while you switch it, but after that it should be fine for a little while. You can change some of these angles. These angles are how much it's pointing up or down. You can change this base splits so that you can, if you can see it, the trunk is split right there. So you have the main trunk, and then you have 2 splits coming off of it. But I'm going to leave that back at 1. And this is how big, how much length from the base to the first branch you're going to have. The higher, the less branches you have at the bottom. Default was at 0.2, so I'm going to leave that at the default, but you can change that. This is how long each branch is. So you can see that the first one is going to be 100%, which is 1. The height. This is going to be 0.3. So it's going to be 0.3 the height of this branch, approximately. I mean, they change as they go higher. So if those down here, it would probably be about 1/3 of the height. And then 0.6, each of these branches are going to be 0.6 the length of this branch. And 0.4, if there was another branch off of it, then you would have, it would be 0.4 of this branch. So that's kind of how it goes on there. Variations, you can have some curvature. You can see on the end of these branches they're kind of curvy. That's because it's on the 3rd level. Remember, these go 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th level. And you can increase resolutions. The more you play with it, though, the slower it's going to get. So just keep that in mind. Pruning. You can prune your tree if you want, and it's kind of self-explanatory. You can have the ratio, the width, the peak. So, but you gotta put that on. I don't usually do that just because I want it to look like a normal tree that hasn't been played with too much. Leaves. This is gonna be the last thing you want to do, just because it's gonna slow down everything. But I found that 6 leaves is not enough unless it's like a dying tree or something. But I think the highest, I'm going to try 50. Oh, you can type in numbers, I guess. But it will only let you pull it, so it will only let you drag the slider to 50. Oh, okay. What about if I type in 100? No. It will only let you go to 50 leaves. But don't click that show leaves until the very end. And you can put an armature so that you can animate it swaying. But unless you're doing that, I wouldn't use that option because it looks like it's taking it a long time. I might have just crashed my Blender too, so. Oh, there we go. So it does do okay, but the armature doesn't. It looks like this, and you're gonna have to come in here and you modify it one by one. It looks like. So anyway, but you can come in here and animate like this. So there, it could be handy. Oh, and I've just come across my first mistake. So you don't ever want to play with something out here because then you lose your settings to your tree. Now I can't actually finish this tree, so I'm gonna restart, but I'm gonna get right back to where I was at. It shouldn't take me too long. We didn't get too far on there, so. Okay, so we're back to where I was at. So now I'm gonna go back to geometry because we went through all the settings. I'm gonna hit bevel. Now it looks like a 3-dimensional tree. And then I'm gonna go up to leaves, and I'm gonna hit show leaves. Oh, I'm gonna deactivate that. I'm gonna type this into 50. I'm gonna hit show leaves, and it's gonna take a minute. Let your computer do what it needs to. Hopefully it should work, and you'll have a full tree. You can right click on the leaves I think we should be done over here. Yeah, I can't think of anything that we need to do over here anymore. And you can add a texture. I'm just going to add a quick green texture to show you that it works. And then a quick brown texture to the trunk. Put it in a room. And I'm just going to pull that all the way up there. Get in my camera. Pull it out. Look at the tree. I'm just going to position this camera so that I can see the tree. The full tree. And then I'm going to go back out here and make this box just big enough to fit the camera in there with the tree in the corner. Then I'm going to make it glossy just for fun. With a little bit of roughness. And I'm going to go back into the tree. It looks like the box, the room is back. I want to move that back up there. Actually, I'm just going to go like this. If you hit S and middle mouse button, you can scale it down on the one axis. So I'm going to make it about that big. I want a little bit of room at the top so that it's not glossy right on the top. Put it right in there. Let's see, what else is there that I need to do? Oh, add lighting. Hit Shift A. And go to, actually we might have a light in here already. Yeah, look, there's a light right, I can't see it very well, right there. There's a light right there for me. So I'm going to move that out here. I'm going to turn it into, I'll do a spotlight. Let's see what that gives me. If not, we'll change that to an area here in a minute. I'm going to increase the blend, crank up the size a little bit. I'm going to put that right up in there. I'm going to Shift D, add another one. And I'm going to make a 3-point lighting system. I'm just pretty much, there's 3 lights pretty much in different directions so that you have a fill light, a main light, a fill light, and a room light, so that it fills, you don't have any harsh shadows. That's pretty much the point of this. And then the reflection should just give it a cool effect. I'm just going to go to the rendered viewport shading for a minute. Wow, that's dark. Why is it so dark? Maybe what I gotta do is bring that a little bit closer and increase that maybe a little bit. I'm gonna go 500 on the light, 500 on that light, increase it a little bit closer. This one I'm gonna put not quite 500, but maybe 200 for the fill. So I'm sort of getting the lighting that I want. I'm gonna maybe put this to an area, and I'm gonna change this to a square. I'm gonna increase the size of that, and now try it. Okay, it's looking a little bit better. Maybe what I'll do is change, instead of the 3-point lighting system, I'm going to just do the 2. I'm going to have a little bit of a fill back here and a main light. Make sure that's, and I'm just going to increase the size of that. And I'm going to change the color to like a red. to give it a little bit of variation. I don't want it to be completely one color, so I'm gonna hit F12 and see what we've got. And it's kind of hard to see. It's a little bit dark, so maybe increase this to 800 and try again. Yeah, that's looking okay. I know it's way noisy, but that's because the samples are only at 10. So if you'd have to probably get all this noise out because there's a lot of it. Probably go up to 500, but I'm only going to go to 100 and get a little bit rendering. If I change the tiles to 512 by 512, I can get a little bit faster render too. It's just increased the block size and it renders a little bit quicker. Yeah, and the noise is starting to disappear a little bit. If you go into light paths, you can change and take off reflective acoustics and refractive acoustics, and it'll render a little bit less noisier. But I'm gonna leave it like that as the render, and you can go in there and you can composite some of this noise out. But thanks for watching.